We have a spreadsheet that has 20,000 rows of data, and sometimes we can't even get the spreadsheet to open. And then when it does, it's extremely slow, it barely moves, and sometimes it'll even crash. So we probably need to go in and delete some of that data, right? Well, not necessarily, because it's not the amount of data we have in that spreadsheet that's slowing it down. It's what we're asking Excel to do with that data. So here is our sales data with our 20,000 rows. And there is a lot going on here. Some of it you can see and some of it you can't, but we're going to walk through it and try to clean this up so it speeds up our workbook. And we're going to start in today's date, or column B. And we're using equals today, open close parentheses, for today's date. There is another formula that's equals now, open close parentheses, that does the current date and the current time. And both of these can cause a problem in especially bigger workbooks because they are what we call volatile formulas. And what this means is every single time you make a change to any row or column, cell, field, or whatever in these workbooks, they are going to recalculate, which can slow your workbook down. So what we want to do is evaluate, do we actually need this date on every single row? And if the answer is yes, then make sure that you have just filled that down to the number of rows that you have and not used it in the entire column. Now, if you need this date, but not on every single row, consider inserting a couple of rows and putting today's date in column A and putting an equals today, open close parentheses, and that will give you today's date in one place. And then you can actually get rid of the data in column B by selecting it, right-click, deleting it, and telling it to shift everything left and tell it OK. And that'll help speed up our workbook just a little bit. Now let's look at conditional formatting. And boy, do we have a lot of that going on here. So let's go up to conditional formatting and go to manage rules. And if we tell it this worksheet, that's going to tell us all the conditional formatting we have going on here. Now, one of the things that we can do is evaluate these and say, okay, are there any of these that I just absolutely don't need? Well, when I'm looking at this data, I don't even know what these are doing for me, so I can get rid of those. These are icons, so I'm going to go to the one that says icon set, select it, and delete that rule. I'm going to go ahead and tell it apply and OK. And now it has gotten rid of all of those icons, and this is no longer a calculating field, so that's going to give us a little bit more speed or optimization. Let's go back to conditional formatting and go to this worksheet, and let's see if there's anything else that we can get rid of or that we don't need. Now, when I'm looking at this data, sales and net, if I am a sales manager or a CFO, or even doing KPIs or key performance indicators for my sales reps, I'm going to be more concerned with net revenue versus sales. So what we can do is we can go ahead and get rid of our color scale that is doing our sales, because net revenue actually gives us the best indicator of the overall health of the company versus just our sales data. So let's select the colored scale that goes to green, and we can delete that rule. Tell it apply and OK to where now all we have is what's going on in our net field. If we take one more look and we go to this sheet, then we can see we have two left. We can have what we have in our net, and then we have if it's less than 0. And I'm going to go ahead and keep that, because if I have something in here that hits a negative, that is something that I really want it to stand out. So now we have it down to our basic conditional formatting that we need to where we've optimized this worksheet a little bit more. Now let's look at our formulas and functions, and I get it. We have to have formulas and functions because that's what Excel is for, is doing all these calculations for us. But what we want to make sure of is we're only using these formulas and functions where we need them. And what I mean by that is in column G, we have a simple formula. We have sales minus cost is our net. And we've got this carried down right now to our 20,000 lines, which if we need it, we need it. But if we have applied this to the entire column, even though it is a very simple formula, it is calculating that over 1,000,000 times. And that is a big problem. So we want to make sure that we're not doing that. The other thing that we can do is if we get to a point to where this data is static and it's not going to change anymore, then we can right click on it and copy it, and right click and do paste values somewhere else or in the same column, and then the calculations for that are removed, and that will speed it up as well. Now let's talk about pivot tables, one of my favorite tools in Excel because they are extremely powerful. However, they increase our file size and they can slow our performance down because they are constantly updating as we're updating data, and Excel does a scan to update them when we first open our file. So we want to make sure that we don't have an excess number of pivot tables slowing everything down. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid of some of these pivot tables. And now we're back to one pivot table and we've taken some of the load off of our worksheet. So let's look at what we call used ranges or ghost rows. If we do Control End in Excel, it is going to take us to the last row where it sees data, which in this case is 20,004, where I have an F in column C, which this is good because it means none of our formulas are going all the way down through the columns or 1,000,000 rows. So this is good. But let's just say we go down and we add something here like a G, hit enter. When we go back to the top and we do Control End, it's going to pop down to 20,268. But watch what happens if we remove this G and we go back up to the top and we do Control End. It's still taking us back down to 20,268. If we clear our contents and we hit save, go back up to the top, Control End, it's going to take us back to row 20,004. So just make sure that you don't have any ghost data, especially if your workbook or worksheet is acting weird. The next thing we want to look for is anything that is hidden within our workbook. We can have hidden images, icons, shapes, text boxes, and they can slow Excel down because even though we don't see them, they are still managed and they're repainted every time. And to find those on our Home tab, we can go over to Find and Select, go down to our selection pane, and we can see that we have 4 different things that are hidden within our workbook. If we unhide them, then we can go in and we can get rid of them. If we select our notes, we can do delete an airplane, and then delete the shapes we have, and we have no other hidden objects slowing our Excel sheet down. So if we keep an eye on our formulas and functions and conditional formatting and only use what we need to use and don't apply them to entire columns with 1,000,000+ rows, we watch how many pivot tables we have, and we get rid of any hidden objects within our worksheets, then they should stay pretty well optimized. Be sure to follow along for more Microsoft Excel and Microsoft 365 tutorials.